Nerd types, I'm sorry I can't be with you here today. I'm out with the ski team, and so you're going to have to press on without me. I know that makes you sad. We're going to be doing a trig investigation about building a ramp. So just as a little warm-up, why don't you follow me through with this? We're trying to find this side Y, so we're trying to find this thing, right? We know this, and we know this angle. So I've got an angle with two sides. This side is the longest, so this is the hypotenuse, right? This is the side that's next to the angle. It's not across, it's not opposite, it's next to, so this is called the adjacent angle. And so if we're talking about the A and the H, we're going to be using cosine from SOHCAHTOA. TOA. So really, you can set this up into an equation that says the cosine of 50. Cosine talks about the adjacent, y, and the hypotenuse, 25. And we can multiply 25 over and multiply by the cosine of 50. We get this. Cosine of 50 is this 0.643. We've multiplied 25 over here, so it cancels out. We've multiplied 25 to this side, and you end up with 16-ish. So what that's saying is that this side is around 16, which seems like it could be right. Cool. Great. So that's the idea of what we're using in the trig investigation. Our last investigation was talking about the rhombuses, right, and the diagonals of that specifically. So you were doing this sort of thing. Those are graded, and they'll come back to you next time I see you. They were supposed to come back to you today, but I'd like to give them back to you when I can actually talk to you about them. So you're going to have to wait. I know that makes you sad. So we're moving on to an investigation, right? We don't want to stalk people. We want to investigate. So we're going to make an investigation about these trig ideas. A little less structured than before, but it's still a C and D criterion grade. So we're talking about communicating, and we're talking about applying mathematics in real-life contexts. The rubrics are in the sheets that you'll get in a second, and make sure you look at those when you do your investigation. Cool, so check those out. You're going to start today in class, and you're going to finish in class tomorrow, and you're not going to work on it in between. You're not going to have anything to do between. I don't want you to take this home. I know that makes you sad. You're going to work collaboratively. You can work together. You can use your notes. That's great. But you are going to work independently. All of this work is going to be your own. Yeah, I want to see what you got, see your understanding of trig. So you can talk to each other. That's collaborating. But copying, what Steve is doing, not cool. Right? So, oh, look at that. Done. Okay, sorry about that. The assessment looks like this. The beginning has, there's 3 parts. There's just an intro, right? Draw me a simple diagram. You're going to draw a triangle with this and this and this and label a few things like this and this. You're going to have to read and interpret. That's part of the communication grade, right? So part 2 is really level 1 through 4. Yeah, it could be a 1, it could be a 4, depending on how well you do in this, right? You're going to have to read and follow along carefully, okay? Once you're done with that, move on to 5-6 if you have time. This is a little bit, see, there's less writing. It tells you less of what to do. It's a little more vague. That's why it's a little more challenging, because you have to interpret things a little more, right? Try that out here. That's part 3 if you get to that. Part 4 is a little more challenging yet. That's 7 and 8. And it actually has 2 parts. There's part 4, that's here, and then flip it over, part 5. This is still part of 7 and 8. So you need to do both of those to get a 7 or an 8. And this is more challenging yet. It's a little more vague. It's a little trickier math. It's not necessarily hard math. I've seen all of you do this math, but being able to interpret this, and then work your magic here and here is where the challenge comes in. Cool. There are rubrics for the communication part and the applying math in real life. you're looking at this part here. Show me this, and show me this. They're very specific, yeah, so you'll know what to do. Cool? So that's what we're working on. So you have today and tomorrow to work on that. And if you get done, look at the end of this on the VLE, look on the ramp, building a ramp, and there will be some fraction work for you there. So it doesn't behoove you to get done quicker because there's just ugly fractions waiting for you at the end. I will be back on Monday, the 16th. I'm out with the ski team until then, and I will be very sad to have missed you this week.